Okay, so if in 1 Thessalonians, if these guys are born again, and they are, and if they're doing a work of faith, a labor of love, and steadfastness of hope, that means they are born again. That's the fruit. That's the proof. No fruit, no proof. No fruit, no salvation, right? If you're born again, there's going to be fruit. You can say you're an apple tree all day long, but if you grow pears, you're not an apple tree, right? So here we see true born-again believers bearing fruit. We looked at the work of faith, the labor of love, the steadfastness of hope. But what else is there? Oh, there's a lot more. Look at verse 6. Look at what Paul says in verse 6. And you became imitators of us and of the Lord. Why? For you received the word in much affliction with joy of the Holy Spirit. Okay, I'm going to stop there for a minute. When people receive affliction with joy, that's a sign of the Holy Spirit. All of these fruits that these guys are exhibiting are proof, not only that they're saved, but that they're filled with the Holy Spirit. So these guys are receiving affliction because that's what happens when you tell people the gospel. These guys are in a hostile environment. They're as pagan as you get. These guys were literally worshiping little idols. Just like today, we worship idols in America all the time. Sex, drugs, money, status, power, houses, you name it. And when you tell somebody the gospel of Jesus Christ, some are going to get saved and some are going to mock you. They're going to laugh. In some countries, people are killed for telling the gospel. We don't have that here yet. So here's what's going on. These guys are they're exhibiting fruits. They're walking in obedience, for the most part, to Christ. And they're receiving affliction because of it. Because the Jews hated it. Just like people in America hate it. They hate when people talk about Jesus Christ. You can talk about anything else except for Jesus Christ. You ever notice that? That's what's going on. That's the condemnation. That's people hating the light shine in their eyes. And that happened in Thessalonica. And what did the Thessalonians do? The people in Thessalonica, they became imitators of Paul and of Jesus Christ, and they received that affliction with joy, proving that they had the Holy Spirit. In fact, when you look up the word imitation or imitators in the New Testament, it appears at least 11 times. Paul says, be an imitator of me, Jesus Christ. In Ephesians 5, it says, be thee therefore imitators of God. We are supposed to imitate Paul. We are supposed to imitate Christ. When we receive affliction, we should receive it with joy. This isn't being taught a lot today, right? A lot of people like to talk about the blessings. Come to Jesus and He'll give you a nice house and whiter teeth and brighter laundry and all that stuff. But if you really study the first century church, if you really study the life of Jesus, it's all about suffering and affliction. But because we're born again, because we have that helmet of salvation, because we're filled with the Spirit, like the Thessalonians, we should receive affliction with joy. And I'm going to go on in one more verse here. So they received the word in much affliction with joy. Verse 7, so that you became an example to all the believers in Macedonia and Achaia. What is this? What's the importance of this? Well, people are watching when the Christian struggles, when the Christian goes through trials and tribulation, when the Christian gets cancer, when the Christian spouse leaves them, when the Christian loses their job. How do they react? People are watching. And people were watching here. All over Achaia and in Macedonia, people were hearing of the affliction that was going on in Thessalonica, and that these people were receiving it in joy. And that says truckloads about their faith, right? That is great fruit that they are producing, because people are watching and they're not grumbling and they're not groaning and they're not striking back. They're receiving it with joy. Why? Because they were filled with the Holy Spirit. All right, peace.